Hey, what's up guys, Syed here. Today I am in the 2019 Chevrolet Camaro LT with an RS body kit. To be honest, I don't know much about this car. The only thing I know is that it has a 2-litre turbocharged engine, 275 horsepower and about 400 Newton meters of torque. So in this video you will see me exploring the car together with you guys. First impressions of this car, it's very comfortable. I don't know whether it was designed to be a grand tourer, but it can be a grand tourer because even though it's a performance car, the suspension is very compliant. It absorbs bumps really well, and adding on to that, it's actually quite quiet. I don't get a lot of wind noise, just a bit of tire or road noise. Performance wise, I don't know how heavy this car is. I'm guessing maybe about 1.7 tons. It does 0 to 100 in about 6.4 seconds. And when I floor the car, it feels as if the engine is working really hard to haul the body of the car. It feels kind of heavy. Steering is quite heavy as well. Even at low speeds, you can definitely feel the weight in the steering wheel. But it's quite precise. You see that? Small adjustments and the car responds. And the car, it feels really solid. Like the materials and all are, they are quite good quality. But the car as a whole, it just feels really well put together, well built, and it has a very solid kind of feel. Okay, sidetrack a bit. Dubai or even the Middle East in general is super hot. And for quite a while I've actually been thinking, like, how do the cars here withstand the very harsh climate in the Middle East? And I found out that the cars here actually have something called a GCC spec. So what GCC stands for is the Gulf Cooperation Council. And what GCC spec cars means that the cars are spec, or they are basically modified to withstand the harsh climate in the Middle East. So for example, when you see a car that comes with a GCC spec, what it means is that the car has a bigger radiator to help keep the engine cool. It has a stronger aircon. The aircon in GCC spec cars are really quite strong. It's like if you put them into one, like how strong the fan blows at level 1, it's equivalent to maybe like 3 for regular cars like Singapore cars. And they also have better filters to keep out the sand and dust in the desert. So yeah, that's GCC spec. So you learned something new today. Now let's talk about the exterior design of the car. This car is simply beautiful. It's sleek, it's very angular, it has sleek lines, and even though it's a bit boxy, it still looks very, very good. I don't know how they did it, but yeah, hats off to the designers of this car, because this car is simply beautiful. It's not outrageous, but it still gets your attention. But of course the car that I'm driving is white in color, so it's not as attention grabbing as compared to the Camaro in like yellow, for example. Moving on to interior, the interior of this car is very simple and it's easy to get used to after a while. The material quality is quite good, it feels very solid. Overall, generally you can tell that they use higher quality materials, but you do get some very cheap feeling plastics here and there. For example, over here and the glove box, yeah. But other than that, the rest of the car, for example, this part is like a rubbery plastic kind of material, and this part is, I think this is plastic, but it's coated to make it look like metal. To give you a better idea of what the material quality is like, you know how the new Mazdas have a bit more atas kind of interior? This car has the same kind of like feel as the Mazdas. The info screen in the middle of the gauge cluster here gives you all the relevant and useful information. Things like transmission fluid, G-force, okay, maybe G-force not so relevant, but still, oil pressure, oil temperature, coolant temperature, battery voltage. This is information that to you as a driver is very useful and very important. It's very easy to get used to. Like, I jumped into the car and just after a few minutes I got used to it. I know where everything is. Same goes with this screen. it's a bit cartoonish in terms of the design and all you can see over here, but it's very responsive. That's what I like about infotainment systems. They should be responsive. The aircon controls work in a weird kind of way. So if you turn this dial to the right, it will increase the temperature of both you and your passenger side aircon. And if you want to control the fan speed, you turn this dial on the right side, just like that. Everything is just easy to use. Moving on to practicality, in this car it's about average. Your door bins are non-existent, to be honest. I don't think you can. Yeah, you can't even fit a small bottle like this. Center compartment is actually, you can fit like maybe 1 or 2 phones, and that's it. Glove box is also about average size. It's quite shallow actually. Rear seats, with this seat in my original driver's position, I did not have any knee room whatsoever, and my head was touching against the roof of the car. So you can carry shorter adults for short trips, and for a performance car, the boot space is actually quite good. The only problem is that the opening is not very big. So for bigger pieces of luggage or bigger items, you may have to squeeze them in, but the boot space itself is actually not too bad. The good thing about Dubai is that petrol is cheap. I always fill up with premium petrol, at least RON 98, and it costs me about 85 Singapore cents per litre. You don't feel like the brakes are very strong because there's a bit of travel in the brakes. You have to really like put your foot down all the way on the brake, and then the car will start to, the brakes will start to engage and the car slows down. I don't know if this car was designed to be a GT car, but it feels like a GT car. It's comfortable, it's fast, it's smooth. I know this may sound weird, but it feels exactly how it looks. From the outside, the car looks kind of like muscular. It has that very solid kind of look, and the way it drives is exactly what I expected it to be, except the suspension. I didn't expect the ride quality to be this good, to be honest. It's very comfortable. Not like in a Toyota Camry kind of comfortable. It just feels like imagine a car that feels very solid, a bit low, as in, the ride height is a bit low. Kind of like your Continental car feel in a way, because the soundproofing is quite good. Visibility all around is actually quite good, even though the windows are quite narrow and long. Like for example, you can see the window beside me. Oh, this is a dead end. And you even get a backup camera, so it's very useful. So overall, what I like about this car, number one, will probably be the way it looks. I love the way this car looks. It's not too flashy, yet it still manages to attract your attention. The biggest thing I dislike about this car would probably be the drive. I feel like it's not as well engineered as the Germans. Don't get me wrong, it's still a nice car to drive. I think it's not as natural as the drive in like a BM or Porsche or Continental cars basically. For example, when I drive the car fast, I feel like there's some resistance. It's as if the car doesn't really want to go fast. And another one would be the exhaust. Like, the exhaust sounds good, but I just feel like it's being suppressed somehow. Like, it's not letting out the full exhaust sound. But it's still a good car to drive here and there. It really depends on your driving preferences. Me personally, I would go Continental over this car. So yeah, that's about it guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like, comment down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in the next review.